Call to order at 6:00. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome. We are being broadcast live on Van Buren Television Channel 12 and on YouTube. Clerk Wright, could you please call the roll?
Yes. Trustee Kelly.
Here.
Trustee Moore.
Here.
Trustee Martin.
Here.
Trustee Frazier.
Here.
Clerk is present. Treasurer Bud.
Here.
Supervisor.
Here.
We have one.
Thank you, Clerk. First, we'll start with an executive summary. We have our usual business, which is on the board agenda, which is the consent agenda, which consists of the prepaid lists of voucher lists, our everyday bills that we pay. We'll also have the approval of two appointments, Joe Baskin and Victor DeLibra. We want to thank them for re-upping for the Downtown Development Authority Board. We do have a new item that's been added. It's basically two ordinances which are going to help us with underage persons regarding liquor and smoking. That's going to be added to the agenda today. We also have a personal service agreement with Stephen Harvey. We have discussion on the first reading of an ordinance for minors that will mirror the state law regarding minors and alcohol, liquor, tobacco, and vape products. We will have a discussion on an intergovernmental agreement with Wayne County for the Denton Road replacement, and discussion on amendment number 2 for the Plant Moran Real Point contract, and an amendment to the to Newman Smith's contract with the community center. Sorry. That's it. We're moving on to the next item, which is a motion to amend the agenda.
Mr. Chair,
Thank you.
I make a motion that we adopt the agenda as amended.
Support.
Got a motion, I've got support, hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes, thank you. Can I get a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Bud.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda containing the board meeting minutes of February 6, 2024, the prepaid list of February 8th, the prepaid list of February the 15th, and the voucher list of February the 20th of 2024, and approval of the appointments of Joe Baskin and Victor DeLibra to the DDA board with a term to expire March 9th, 2028.
Support. Yeah, Mr. Swanson. I have a motion and I have support. Hearing no further discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we go to public hearing, which we have none. We are now in the correspondence, announcements, and presentations. Is there anybody from the board that has a correspondence? Go ahead, Clerk Wright.
Yes, coming up on exactly 1 week from today, we'll be having the presidential primary election next Tuesday. I'd like to announce that early voting is taking place now also for the presidential primary. All Van Buren Township voters can vote early at the Township Hall here from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. every day through Sunday, February 25th. Early in-person voting will also be available 9 days prior to the August primary election and the November general election. This method of voting allows you to place your ballot directly into the tablet. You can also bring your absentee ballot to the Township Hall during the 9-day period to tabulate them yourself. Van Buren Township voters now have more options than ever to let their voices be heard. I would also like to briefly go over the monthly medical savings summary. We received this a couple of weeks ago from our insurance provider. EHIM, who everybody knows is used for the secondary provider. We use them to up our deductibles in order to lower our total cost. What it does is it gives into account who actually goes to seek medical attention other than to provide insurance for everyone to go. So it gives an accounts for who actually goes to the doctor, other than assuming that everyone is gonna go to the doctor this month. You know, it takes account for it, the ones that actually go. So last year, it was January first to December 31st of last year. And we received a savings of $249,514 for using this, pretty good savings for the year. I hadn't been getting these, but I asked to get them every year, and it's like, glad that you want every year, so everyone knows what savings, what type of savings we're receiving. Other than that, one thing I gotta say is, make sure you get out and vote. If you want to do it, be heard. Thank you.
Anybody else wish to make that comment? Yes, Tricia, what?
Just to let everybody know, or to remind everybody that 29th of February is the last day to pay taxes in the treasurer's office. And you must remember, we do not accept postmark dates, so it must be in my desk in the office by the 29th of February.
Anybody else? I regularly get letters, and I have another letter thanking Officer Champagne for his professionalism from us, and I just wanted to bring that up. I don't want to read them, but I do get them off, and then this one just mentioned that Officer Champagne did a great job up there, so thank you.
You know, what you said, I do want to mention,
Sure.
I should have said it was at the Friday the other day, for Officer, Lieutenant Banzi. This is my 16th year being the clerk, also the news man for the township. And which means that, I mean, I had also the clerk that was sit on the board for MMRMA, who was the insurance provider for the township. We used to not get accolades, but we had a lot of instances when I walked in, I had a bobcat in the size of the room of my wall on full of either lawsuits or incidents. We don't have that anymore. And we got one ongoing case with that shouldn't be ongoing, the police department. But I get a lot of accolades now for our department. And also the records that run the township. But our police department has made huge strides, and I count that to the officers, our police chief, Jason Wright, and Josh Monty. I hear nothing but raises, views, during you guys. I just want to let you know, you're doing a great job. I want to let everyone here that's hearing you know that I'm very proud of our police department right now. And the work that they do. We don't hear the things that we used. I don't hear the things that I used to hear. That's a great accomplishment. That's the way for the department, man. But I just want to thank you.
Yeah, it was, and Chip Bosby did retire. It's gonna be a miss, and I wish I could remember some of the many things that he told us, but one of the things he did tell us, God, 8 years ago, Angela Manarinos here, is that the cops don't like to write tickets for ordinance violations because they're just so hard on those people. And so we, under his direction, we rewrote all the ordinances. So we give warnings, and then we send them to our local courts, with our local prosecutor, Angela Manarino. She can explain to them nicely that they have to clean it up, or this is just the beginning, and maybe give them a break on the first shot. But the cops aren't afraid to write these tickets anymore because they know that they start off with just warnings, they move up. And Lieutenant Bosby made a huge change in our community because of that. We're very thankful. I see those with the comment. All right, public comments. We're here. The public comment is any for the public wishes to comment or anything before the board tonight. No. Go to unfinished business. Is there any unfinished business? No. New business. Consider approval of Stephen Harvey's personal service agreement. Can I get a motion?
Sure.
Go ahead.
I move that we approve Stephen Harvey's personal service agreement and to authorize Supervisor McNamara Corporation to execute the agreement.
Okay. Go ahead.
Good evening, board. The gentleman that I am presenting as the facilities coordinator comes to you with experience that stems from early childhood. His name is Stefan Harvey. His experience began while he worked in the family janitorial business, where he has learned the proper way of performing and documenting routine inspections and all the maintenance activities that go along with community centers and large facilities. In addition, he also knows the proper cleaning and how to supply designated areas for those facilities. As with our career paths, we pick up skills that build upon each other, and they all make us better. The one thing that makes us better is knowing people, which is universal. Stefan's work history also includes being a victims advocate, where he assisted social workers at the DPD, allowing him to be the liaisons between the officers and families in need. During his interview, he expressed the importance of knowing the audience by telling a story of understanding cultural differences as well. He gave a thorough assessment of what the BBC would need as far as manpower, supplies, rotation of scheduling services, and most importantly, he understands the value of hard work and taking pride in his role. Referenson stated that he is very personable and is always willing to extend himself for the betterment of the job. For this reason, I am asking for the board to consider the approval of Stefan's personal service agreement as the facilities coordinator. With that, I will take any questions the board may have.
No, it's an extensive process. There's I don't know, 20, 30 people apply, maybe 5 people make it to the first interview, there's a second interview, then I know that you've got to go through a walkthrough with the last 1 or 2 people where they basically see what you actually do know about the job. So we're not going to beat you up anymore. We get ready. Does anybody have any final? Yes. Okay, I have a motion then by trustee Boyton, supported by trustee Frazier. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor of hiring?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Congratulations. Would you like to say something?
Thank you very much.
Let's sit back there, we shake your hand.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
That's great. Yeah, it's a long process. It's going to take a couple of months to onboard somebody, but no, we got. It's a good procedure. We get good people.
Thank you, board.
Thank you. All right, next up is item number 2, which is kind of tied up with item number 3, but I think we have to take them separately because they're ordinances. Ordinances are laws, and we don't do a lot of laws.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
make a motion to consider approval of first reading of ordinance 2-20-24 to discuss and approval of the amendment of Article 1 and General Chapter 6, alcoholic beverages, to amend section 6-7.
Okay, support, who said the question? Okay. Come on up and then talk about the alcohol one and the smoking one. We'll run the votes one after the other.
Okay, good evening, board. Thank you for the kind words about the PD, and I will pass everything on to Lieutenant Bazey. I know he appreciates your kind words. So before you, I have a couple different proposals, and I'll talk about the first alcohol ordinance. What we're essentially doing, we try to review our ordinances periodically, and we try to make sure they mirror state law, or if we're lacking in something, like you talked about earlier, Supervisor, we try to kind of fill in the holes. So with this first ordinance that pertains to alcohol, we are adopting state law. The state changed the statute where back years ago, a juvenile who got caught with alcohol, it was a misdemeanor on their record. The state has now made that a civil infraction. And what we are proposing to do is adopt the statute as written by the state of Michigan and make minor possession of alcohol a civil infraction.
For a first offense. The second offense remains, excuse me, remains a misdemeanor. But the first offense now under state law has become a civil infraction, so the amendment of the ordinance will allow our first offense to be a civil infraction as well.
We didn't try anybody to make under a misdemeanor, did we? Get it improperly?
No,
Okay.
we very infrequently use this ordinance. I would say in the, decade or so I've been the prosecutor, we've used it 4 or 5 times that I've had it, so it doesn't come up very often. But when, the situation does arise, we want to make sure that we have the right ordinance to address it.
I mean, I
So,
I think usually they make mistakes. And I think you should be afforded the opportunity to correct that mistake. And if you do that, just allow them to do that, then it just happens again, then they have more accountable. So, yeah,
Trustee Boynton,
Is there anything or program, if you will, that recognizes the possibility of an early development of a, of some type of addictive behavior, see where I'm going? As far as with alcohol, in the process with the,
I can answer that question because I know the start of it. We probably have the best one in the country. I mean, it starts out with tardyism in schools, and then instead of sending them down to the circuit court downtown, they having to wait 6 months and then saying they're all better, and then after 2 years later, find out that they're doing acting erratically or whatever, sending them back down there. Now they've been acting crazy for 2-3 years. In Van Buren, within 2 weeks, they're in front of her, and the judge they don't get a ticket or anything, they basically put a program together as well as works, and then they put them out there, and they tag team them, the prosecutors involved, and the well towards persons involved with it, I think they send a parole person with them
The
too.
juvenile probation officer.
Yeah. And so long story short is, because of that, we have an 80% success rate of keeping kids out of the judicial system after they get it. Nationwide, it's 20%. Okay, so we flip it.
Good.
It's good.
Yeah, it's been incredibly successful.
Okay. Well, I'm going to start the program. So yeah, this is, it's amazing, we've only had 4 or 5 kids with minors in possessions. Our kids went to Central. That'd be a bad Monday. Yeah. Anything else? Okay. All right, I have a motion. All right, so we have 2 of them. We'll start with the first one. This is for 20, I'm sorry, that's where my glasses say. 2024-1. I have Clerk Wright making the motion and Trustee Boynton supporting it. This is a voice vote. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? This one passes. We'll bring it back again next time for a roll call vote. So could you go on to the back? First of all, I need next one's on tobacco use. Yeah, Trustee Martin.
Make a motion to approve the first reading of ordinance 02-20-24 to discuss an approval of the amendment of Article 8, offenses concerning underage persons of Chapter 58, offenses and miscellaneous provisions to amend Section 58-361 to 58-363.
Support. Thank you. Director or Deputy Chief?
Yeah, so our previous ordinance didn't include tobacco and vape. Vape is rather a new thing. I don't think kids really are smoking much anymore. They're more vaping. So this is actually adding into our existing ordinance. It's adding the tobacco and the vape products as well. And it's also mirroring our state statute as well. So it's adding tobacco and adding vape products to our ordinance.
Any questions?
I would just indicate here, just for, by way of a little bit of background. For years, the age for tobacco was 18. Federally, it became 21. Then the state had to decide if they were going to adopt 21 as the age. And so it sort of has trickled down to us. And so now that this ordinance is adopting the state statute, which does provide penalties like Deputy Chief was saying for vape pens, because that's what we're seeing more with, you know, the kids in the schools having is not, you know, traditional cigarettes, but these other products. And so this is just adopting the state law, which is kind of trickled down from the federal level and made its way to us.
I was just with Tom Fielder, substance use disorder, and Tom moved as the vice chair to fund the policing now, so the police are hiring kids to go in and try and buy that stuff. Okay, I got a motion, I got a second. Is there any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you
Thank you.
very much. Next item is number 4. Discussion to consider approval of the intergovernmental agreement between Wayne County and Van Buren Township. Yes, Bruce Byron.
I have one question. Sure. On this first, before we move on to the motion. While reading through this, I noticed that the agreement has on it Belleville Township. Documented. We missed that. You see it, Ron? Which page number is it? Number 2. On the table of contents. At the bottom of the sheet.
Okay.
Okay.
Right there.
Oh, got it.
Now, I don't have anything against the motion or voting on the motion, but I want to make sure that, hold on, Beyond. I want to make sure that we, make sure that we correct that. I don't want it written through. I mean, I want it completely corrected because I don't know how many places this is going to go to.
No, thank you. That's a correction we can make.
What's that?
Yeah.
It's on the bottom of each page. Well, it's a legal document.
We changed it already, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes, sir?
Yeah. Throughout the entire packet, so.
All right. Trustee Kelly, can you make a motion?
I move to consider approval of an intergovernmental agreement between Wayne County and Van Buren Township for the Denton Road replacement, noting trustee Boynton's request for correction at the bottom of the page.
Okay.
Support.
Okay. All right, so, give us an update. Tell us what this is.
Sure, thank you, board. So Wayne County has completed the draft of the intergovernmental agreement for the Denton Road Bridge project. Under this agreement, the township's responsibilities include providing preliminary engineering, load rating, and then updating the MyBridge, which is the MDOT reporting software for bridge inspections. The county will be responsible for construction and construction of the bridge project. Under the contract, the county will be required to reimburse the township the cost of design engineering when it receives funding from the state of Michigan, not to exceed $499,940, which is equal to our contract amount with Fishback. Thank you for your patience during this process. Please let me know if you have any additional questions. I'm happy to answer any questions. One item I do want to highlight is that this agreement has been reviewed by the township. Answer any questions that you have.
What attorney you want me?
Dave Clayton.
What?
What is it?
I said no.
I didn't ask that.
So, so we're on target right now for the Denton Road Bridge for our portion. We haven't told everybody that they're making the high pressure gas side, we have no idea. Which we are meeting almost bi-weekly now with Wayne County and now DTE. I believe that we're gonna be done with our part next month.
Yes, we're on track to provide the, construction drawing documents to Wayne County in that early part of March.
And all permits. Okay. So hopefully it keeps on moving. All right, I have a motion. Any other questions? All right, I have a motion by Kelly, supported by Mortensen. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thanks. Next item is discussion to consider approval of amendment number 2, the Plant Moran Real Point contract.
Chair,
Yes, sir.
if we approve amendment number 2 to the Plant Moran Real Point contract and amendment number 7 to the Newman/Smith architecture contract for the VBCs at Van Buren Community Center.
I'm having the same problem today.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Van Buren Community Center.
Support.
Hey, Frazier. All right, Director?
Good evening, board. So as you are probably aware, we're chugging along with the Township Community Center project. Our project team is happy to report that we're coming in below budget. However, we have had some timeline delays that have occurred over the course of the project. The original substantial completion date was at the end of December 2023. However, due to a few factors, the project closeout has been pushed back to April of this year to reflect the updated timeline. Some of these factors include challenges that occurred with DTE scope of work, paving, weather, and additionally some changes that we, the township, made to make this project even more special for our community. One of those was the addition of the technical sound booth to the black box theater to make it even more of a versatile and functional space for community groups to use. So we're here to consider approval of amendment number 2 to the Plant Moran Real Point contract and amendment number 7, Newman Smith architecture contract to reflect this timeline change. Both of these groups are part of our core project team, and it's imperative that they're engaged throughout the course of the project. Both amendments in total will be a not to exceed dollar amount of $75,600 to be expensed out of the project budget. This rate is consistent with both groups' rate over the course of the project. We're just looking to extend the terms of the contract. If approved, this expense will be paid from our owner contingency. We're still tracking to be under budget overall on this project despite these amendments. So again, we're incredibly excited to be in the final stages of this project. We can't wait to deliver this building to the community later this spring. We have Rod Kay from Plant Moran Real Point, who keeps us staying here with us tonight too. And if you have any questions, him or I would be happy.
I could ask one. Anybody? What's Plant Moran got left to do? Looks pretty done. Okay.
I mean, one of the most important things of the project is having a successful project closeout, making sure that we're holding all of the contractors to commissioning standards, making sure that what they were supposed to build for us is what we got, and we definitely want our smartest eyes on that before we take delivery of the project.
Okay. Not a closeout, okay. All right, I have no other question, anything else? No? Okay, I have a motion by trustee Boynton, supported by trustee Frazier. Hearing no further discussions, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have no reports today. Public comment now for non-agenda items. Is there anybody from the public that wishes to comment on any non-agenda items? Okay, one last time, anybody from the public wishing to comment on any non-agenda items? It's okay, I guess we're good. Board comments, does anybody from the board want to say anything? No? No? Okay. Adjournment. Can I get a motion? Heard a motion, Boyson? Support? Support. Kelly? No further discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you. I'm sorry, it was too long for